Ghost Recon's taken many and varied forms since its PS2 debut, but Breakpoint feels like one of the most definitive sequels in the series, re-upping and updating not only the story, but the style, mechanics and feel of Wildlands. During my visit to the developers and in a short hands-on, it became clear that a great deal was staying very much the same for this new violent trek through the wilderness. But along the way, Ubisoft's developers made very clear that this also isn't a reskin. Here are the key similarities and differences I spotted. Nomad's back, and technically he's back to the future, with Breakpoint taking place in a crypto-dystopic 2023. An Elon Musk-like tech entrepreneur's private island has been overtaken by a rogue element, his factories now producing autonomous weapons of war, and Ghost Recon sent in to assist, with initially catastrophic results. And now stranded Nomad has a personal connection to all of this, with flashback sequences built into the story, fleshing out what's taken place between the two games, where Nomad's been, and who he met along the way. Principally, who Nomad met was Cole D. Walker, played by Jon Bernthal of Netflix's The Punisher. Walker was dropped into Wildlands last week, introducing a swaggering southern wildcard who's clearly gotten wilder in the intervening years. Walker is responsible for the island takeover, along with his cell of other rogue ghost agents, the Wolves. The actor's clearly been dropped in to provide more of a motivation for players than just stealth and shooting being fun. While minor changes have been made to your minute-to-minute experience, looting and crafting are now possible for example, the core of Wildlands' stealth action setup remains intact. This is still a game best played with 3 friends, with drones used for recon, plans made for stealthy ingress and egress, and quick kill gunfights when it inevitably all goes wrong. Essentially, if you had strong feelings about Wildlands, they're unlikely to change too much when it comes to Breakpoint. The key difference comes outside of that core action. The game now offers 4 classes, each with their own abilities, equipment, and progression, which carries over between the main game and an unrevealed PvP mode coming at launch. The idea here isn't to segment players, but actually allow for more freedom when playing together. Classes can be switched freely at camp throughout the game, meaning you'll hopefully never be stuck with 4 snipers, unless you want to be. Wildlands Bolivia was a gargantuan thing, its 20 provinces providing a truly open world, designed for squads of players to take on missions from multiple angles, often at the same time. Breakpoint doesn't alter that formula. We're shown a rescue mission that has 2 players fighting through a facility gate, receiving covering fire from a sniper, while a 4th player blowtorches a fence to slip in undetected from the rear. When I play the same mission, my team takes a less finessed approach, but reaches a similar conclusion. Your tactical muscle memory should serve you well here. The key difference is that this is very much not Bolivia. Breakpoint takes a more Bond-like route by choosing the entirely made-up Pacific island of Aurora as its location. It reminds me most of Just Cause 4, using fiction to allow for a variety of environments the real world just can't compete with. Swamps, jungles, poppy fields, deserts, even a volcano all make up these new stomping grounds. It also allows for the sci-fi inflected story to breathe a little. Drone swarms and unmanned tanks roaming the world in search of a ghost to bust feel a little more natural in a place this obviously unreal. Ghost Recon has always put you in the boots of the best, and no matter how much Breakpoint emphasises that Nomad is alone, humbled and hunted, you're still far beyond the abilities of the private military contractors you'll be up against. With the new prone camo feature, essentially lie down and you can use the environment to cloak yourself, usually by smearing mud all over yourself, you're potentially even more ghost-like than ever. Walker's Wolves are presented as rogue ghosts with as much experience as you and your squad, but in my albeit limited time up against them, they went down just as quickly and easily as anyone else. One thing we're told repeatedly though, is that Breakpoint will reflect the realities of surviving in the wilderness, forcing the ghosts to eat and drink to stay at that peak performance. That element's never actually shown to us, so I can't speak to how it'll balance survival mechanics with straightforward fun. What I do discover is that you can sustain injuries beyond a drained health bar. Let's say you, accidentally jump off of a high ledge for absolutely no reason. Doing that will potentially injure your leg, forcing you into a limp that could only go away with treatment. Not eating might make your aim shakier, and other injuries could take away movement options like vaulting. Treatment is pretty fast and free if you're in camp, but this feels more like a punishment for not treating your ghost right than an integral new piece of gameplay. Wildlands' trump card was in keeping players interested after release, adding everything from a PvP mode to special appearances from Sam Fisher and the Predator. Ubisoft knows how much of a boost that offered, and the developers are already making clear that this is an ongoing project, months before release. While PvP will now be in from day one, we're shown that extra story content and limited time events will be added. I'd be very surprised not to see more very special guests come along too. But the major new additions is the promise of endgame raids. Wildlands' level cap put paid to many players' time with the core game, and Ubisoft clearly wants to make that a thing of the past. We're shown hints of multiple raid locations, all of which have to be taken on as a co-op team, apparently set on maps separate from the main Aurora Island. One, of course, is nestled inside a volcano. It's the biggest clue that Ubisoft's now fully jumped into the game-as-service realm with Ghost Recon, which will probably also be the biggest difference between Breakpoint and Wildlands. If you want to learn more about Ghost Recon, why not check out our Ghost Recon Wildlands review.